Hello everyone and welcome back to another plan with me. Today I am setting up February in someone else's bullet journal and they requested a love potion theme based on a Pinterest photo. So I will try and link that photo down below and let's get started. So I am starting off the cover page with writing out February in a typewriter kind of serif font. I don't really know what it's called, but I think it looks really nice. And I'm outlining that in a pen that I got from Amazon. I think it was part of a bestseller kit or something, so it should be pretty easy to find. So here I'm just outlining the letters and I'm going to color them in a little bit. But first I'm going to take a Pigma Micron and I think a 01, one of the thinner nibs, and I'm going to outline the beakers and test tubes. After that's done, I'm going to take that same Amazon pen and write out what you need is in a simple cursive font, and then using my stamps, I'm going to stamp out Love Potion number 9. This is a song lyric, so I was told by the person who owns this bullet journal. I did not know the song, but if you do, you might like this. Now I'm going to color in the letters of February, and I start off with a Tombow Food Nosuke hard tip, and it was causing me a lot of issues because it's a hard tip and it's not very flexible. So then I went to the Amazon pen that I used to outline. This took forever. It was very tedious, and later I came to my senses and used a Food Nosuke soft tip, or whatever the other one is that's not the hard tip version, and it was a lot easier. Alright, now to add some color, I'm using just a bunch of different pink markers. This one is a mild liner, and then I'm using a Staedtler pen. It was just one that I had lying around, and I think this one came in a set as well. And then I'm also going to be using some Crayola SuperTips and some Tombow duo brush pens. Just a bunch of different pinks and or reds if you wanted to use those too would look really nice. And I didn't plan this out ahead of time, that's why I'm sitting here thinking about what color should go where, but it really doesn't matter. I think it'll look good no matter where you put each color, just as long as you have some kind of variety. So I'm just filling up each little beaker test tube about halfway, sometimes a little more, and then having little dots floating out of the top. And then I add little hearts and dots on either corner of the quote. And that is it for the cover page and the quote page. So now we're going to move on to the calendar. So starting off, I'm going to outline a beaker in the upper left corner, and I made this one pretty big because I thought it was going to be the only one on the page. I end up adding another one later, but now I am drawing out the boxes for the calendar, and this is just 6x6, I think, or 5x5 dot grid. cube calendar, really basic. Now going back in and outlining February again, same pen from before, and normally when I'm writing out titles, I don't have such bold pencil outlines, but this font, for whatever reason, was kind of hard for me to visualize. I needed to actually draw it out in pencil and trace over it pretty much to get it right. So I know that there are a lot of people when they bullet journal, especially watching videos on YouTube where it looks like everything's just in their head and they can just magically make something. That's not always the case. Don't be afraid to use pencil if you need to. Sometimes it really does help. Now I'm using a Tombow Duo brush pen to highlight the days of the week at the top of the calendar, and this is a really light pink color that I only use either to highlight or to draw shadows throughout this setup. And then I'm taking all of the other pink colors that I've used so far and drawing little hearts for each day of the week, and I'm not measuring these out and planning which color goes where. I'm kind of just winging it. Now moving on to drawing the liquid in this beaker. I don't know why, this is probably my favorite part of the setup because this marker is magic. The color of it, it literally looks like it's glowing to me. But anyway, you'll see that in a second. First, I'm drawing the little dots that come out of the beaker, and since it's a more blown up version, I am making the bigger dots into hearts, and then I'm having that flow across the top of the page. And I don't know if it translates on camera as much as it does in person, but like that color is just so pretty. It looks so good. Anyway, now I'm moving over to the task list on the right side of the page next to the calendar, and then I'm using that really light pink color to highlight every other line. Now I'm just going to fill in each day of the week, all of the numbers, and write tasks on the taskbar. Pretty self-explanatory. And I don't know why I didn't think the bottom would look so bare, but once everything was filled out, the space looked kind of bare and empty. So I'm drawing a test tube that has fallen over, and the liquid and hearts are spilling out onto the bottom part of the page.
It's arson.
Alright, now moving on to the habit spread. So for this page, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm doing 9 habit trackers all lined up next to each other, and then a basic title and some beakers and test tubes at the bottom. Not too exciting, but it is a functional page, so. Now moving on to the next page, this is going to be a meal tracker spread. So I am drawing 8 boxes, 4 on each side, and there's going to be one for each day of the week, and then an ideas box, and these are big enough to fit one of those half-sized Post-its, you know what I'm talking about? So if you wanted to, you can just write out meal ideas inside the boxes, or you can switch them out every week of February with Post-its. So now taking my stamps again, I am stamping the first 3 letters of each day of the week, and then stamping out the word ideas in the bottom right box. And then writing out the title meals at the top of the spread, and then I'm going to use the same really light Tombow Duo brush pen to do a drop shadow on each of the boxes. Now moving on to the last spread in this setup, I am setting up the weekly page, and for this month I am doing 1 week per page instead of 1 week per every 2 pages, and this is how I'm doing it. This idea also came from Pinterest. I will link it below, and basically it's 9 quadrants, and then the upper left hand corner is going to say Feb, and then it'll have a mini calendar, and then there will be a spot for each day of the week, and then the bottom right quadrant will be a spot for notes. So it's really minimal, really fast and easy to set up, bare bones, but it is really useful as well. And since this way of setting up a weekly doesn't leave a lot of room for doodles, I am using the colors that I used throughout the monthly setup to draw little lines next to each day of the week just to carry the theme through. Now I'm just going to finish up that page, and that is it for the weekly setups. And now we are on to the final flip through. So I hope you guys enjoyed this theme. It's really cute, Valentine's inspired, very pink theme. And I hope you guys have a great February and happy planning. Bye!